There are people walking around right now who barely check their bank account. Not because they're billionaires, not because they won the lottery, but because they understand something most people never will. See, the average person thinks financial peace comes from having more money, but the people who never worry about money, they solved a completely different problem. And once you understand the psychology behind it, you'll realize why some people stay anxious forever, even after getting rich. Because money problems are rarely about money. They're about fear, identity, control, and the invisible habits silently controlling your brain every day. Have you ever noticed something strange? Some people make $40,000 a year and sleep peacefully, while others make $400,000 and still panic at night. Why? Why do some people become emotionally destroyed by small financial problems, while others stay calm during economic collapse? What do they know that most people don't? And more importantly, why do so many people secretly feel broke even when they aren't? Tonight, we're going deeper than budgeting advice. This isn't about saving coffee money. This is about the hidden psychology that controls your relationship with wealth. Because the truth is, most people don't want financial freedom. They want emotional relief. And those are not the same thing. The real reason people worry about money. Most people think money stress comes from lack, but that's only partially true. The deeper reason is uncertainty. The human brain hates uncertainty. It would rather experience pain it understands than freedom it cannot predict. That's why people stay in jobs they hate, why they keep toxic financial habits, why they buy things they cannot afford just to feel temporarily safe. Because spending often isn't logical, it's emotional anesthesia. And modern society knows this. That's why every app, every advertisement, every social media platform is engineered to make you feel behind. Behind financially, behind socially, behind physically, behind in life. Because insecure people consume more. Think about that. The economy quietly profits from your self-doubt. And the people who never worry about money, they stopped playing that psychological game. They no longer use money to impress strangers. They use money to buy control. Huge difference. Here's the scary part. Some people don't actually want wealth. They want permission to finally relax. But if your mind is addicted to fear, no amount of money will ever feel enough. The invisible difference between rich thinking and poor thinking. Poor thinking says, how much can I spend? Wealth thinking asks, how much freedom does this cost me? That single difference changes everything. See, financially calm people think long-term emotionally. Average people think short-term emotionally. That's why one person buys a luxury car to feel successful, while another quietly invests for 10 years. One buys dopamine, the other buys peace. And dopamine is expensive. That's the trap nobody talks about. Modern life has trained people to confuse stimulation with happiness, notifications, fast food, impulse shopping, validation online, tiny dopamine hits, tiny emotional escapes, tiny addictions. And over time, those tiny addictions quietly destroy discipline. Because discipline is painful in the beginning, but chaos becomes painful forever. The people who never worry about money understand delayed gratification at a psychological level, not motivationally, psychologically. They trained themselves to stop needing immediate emotional rewards. That's rare, because most people are unconsciously reacting to life. Emotion, action. Emotion, spending. Emotion, distraction. But calm, wealthy people create space between emotion and decision. That space is where power lives. Why most people stay financially trapped? Let's be brutally honest. A lot of people don't actually have a money problem. They have a lifestyle inflation problem. Every time they earn more, their ego expands. New phone, better car, more status, more approval. And suddenly, their income increased, but their peace disappeared because they upgraded expenses faster than identity. And nobody warns you about this. Success becomes dangerous when your self-worth depends on appearances. That's why some wealthy-looking people are secretly drowning, while some quiet millionaires look completely average. One is buying status, the other is buying options. Massive difference. The people who never worry about money became emotionally independent from social validation. That's the real flex. Not the watch, not the car, not the luxury apartment. Peace is the flex. Sleeping peacefully is the flex. Walking away from toxic work is the flex. Having choices is the flex. Imagine being so emotionally stable that you no longer need strangers to believe you're successful. That's freedom most people never reach. The childhood programming nobody escapes. Most money habits were formed long before adulthood. Childhood. If someone grew up hearing, "We can't afford that," "Money is hard," "Rich people are greedy," "Life is survival," their nervous system absorbs scarcity. And here's the terrifying part. Even after becoming financially successful, their body may still feel poor. That's why some people obsessively save out of fear, why some overspend emotionally, why some sabotage opportunities, because financially they changed. Psychologically, they didn't. Your nervous system remembers survival, and unless you consciously reprogram it, you'll repeat invisible financial patterns for decades. This is why financial education alone is not enough. A person can understand investing and still self-destruct financially, because behavior beats knowledge every time. The hidden trait of people who never panic about money. They trust themselves, not blindly, but deeply. They believe, no matter what happens, I'll figure it out. That internal certainty changes everything, because fear decreases when self-trust increases. Most people think confidence comes after success, but often success comes after emotional stability. The ability to stay calm under pressure is financially valuable, extremely valuable, because panic creates terrible decisions, selling too early, quitting too fast, overspending emotionally, chasing trends, seeking shortcuts. Fear destroys long-term thinking, and wealth is almost always long-term. That's why emotionally reactive people struggle financially, not because they're stupid, because modern life constantly attacks emotional regulation. Everything wants your attention. Everything wants urgency. Everything wants reaction. And calm people become dangerous in reactive societies because they think clearly while everyone else panics. One day, you realize something uncomfortable. Most people spend their entire lives chasing money without ever developing the mind capable of keeping peace once they get it. That's tragic, because the goal was never just money. The goal was freedom. The goal was waking up without fear. The goal was control over your time. The goal was not needing to impress people who secretly don't care about you. And the saddest part? Some people sacrifice their health, relationships, peace, youth, trying to look successful, while quietly becoming emotionally bankrupt. The people who never worry about money discovered something powerful. Wealth is not the absence of problems, it's the absence of panic. Read that again mentally. Because life will always contain uncertainty. Markets crash, jobs disappear, unexpected expenses happen. But psychologically wealthy people build internal stability first. That's why external chaos affects them differently. And once you understand this, you stop worshiping money blindly. You start respecting emotional control, discipline, patience, delayed gratification, self-trust, long-term thinking, because those traits create financial peace long before massive wealth appears. Right now, millions of people are trapped in cycles they secretly hate. Wake up tired, work stressed, spend emotionally, escape through dopamine, repeat, year after year. Not because they're incapable, because nobody taught them how psychologically money really is. And maybe that's why this video found you. Maybe a part of you is tired of living reactively, tired of anxiety, tired of comparing yourself constantly, tired of feeling behind. Because deep down, you already know something has to change. Not just your income, your mindset, your emotional patterns, your relationship with validation, your relationship with comfort, your relationship with fear. Because the life you want requires a version of you that can think differently under pressure. At the end of the day, the people who never worry about money are not superhuman. They simply stopped allowing fear to control every financial decision. They stopped chasing appearances, stopped needing constant dopamine, stopped outsourcing self-worth to strangers, and slowly they built something rare, internal wealth. Because real wealth is not just having money, it's having peace while holding it. And in a world addicted to noise, comparison, panic, and validation, a calm mind may be the most valuable asset of all. So ask yourself honestly, are you trying to become rich, or are you trying to finally feel safe? Because your answer to that question might change your entire future. And before you leave, comment peace if you choose freedom over fake success. And if this video genuinely made you think differently, leave a like and subscribe, because every subscribe tells me these videos are helping someone, and that motivation helps me create more for you.